What? The Batman Arkham series is without a shadow of a doubt one of my favorite game series. Over the last few months, I've replayed and talked about the 4 main entries in this series, and to round Arkham out, I want to talk about the legacy of Batman Arkham.
First off, let's go over the state of the franchise and what's happened with the series ever since Arkham Knight released 9 years ago. Just a fair warning, this is going to be pretty depressing.
In 2016, Batman Arkham VR released for PSVR, which was a prequel to Arkham Knight. It seems to set up a few storylines, but ultimately it's just a dream, and at the end of the day, it's not really a core part of the series. It's just a random VR spin-off that's just an hour long. It doesn't look bad, it just looks like not much at all. And speaking of not much at all, well, that's what there was from the series for the following 7 years. Nothing at all. I thought 2022's Gotham Knights was a part of the Arkhamverse during its marketing push. The setup is that Batman has died and now the Bat family has to stop crime. All the ads I saw started with "Batman is dead," so I rightfully assumed this takes place after Knight. Plus the game stars Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood when he's a good guy, so it seems obvious that this is after Knight. But then there's our first sign. Barbara is Batgirl. She does refer to herself as Oracle at points, but I don't think we'd see her like this after Knight, considering that...
Candy Graham!
Yeah. So yeah, well, it seems like this could have been a sequel to Knight. It's not. But it was developed by Warner Bros. Montreal, who developed Arkham Origins. And playing it, was it? Gotham Knights isn't bad, but it's also not good. It has a lot of Arkham's DNA, playing as the Bat family in an open world city, completing various missions in an effort to uncover an ongoing mystery, throw in combat and stealth sections, and you have a recipe for... It's so weird because this studio made Arkham Origins, and Origins felt so much like City. They've already made a great Arkham-like game, because they made an Arkham game. So how did we get this? It also feels lazy in ways. Like for example, I assume Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood all use some sort of baton or something to attack. That checks out. I can think of pieces of media where they all use weapons like this. But Barbara, I'm pretty sure she usually just uses her fist like Batman, but she has this baton here, and it feels like an excuse so each enemy can have similar animations when they're hit. I could very much be wrong. I mean, I've only played as Batgirl, but it didn't let me switch to other characters, and I honestly got too bored before I could actually switch. Everything just felt like the Arkham games, but lame. Grappling? Super slow. Gliding? Don't even think about it. The Bat Cycle? Slow down, Roadhog!
I genuinely don't think it's possible to go any slower.
This is depressing, man. Stealth? It's alright, but it just felt better in Arkham. It's a shame because I don't think that this game is bad. It's just... this game got a lot of hate at launch, and I kinda see where it came from. Were people being overdramatic? Yeah, kind of. Were they also still right in many ways? Yeah, kind of. But I need to stop getting distracted by this. I mean, this isn't an Arkham game, even though it feels really close to being one. But finally, after 7 years, we finally got our new entry in the series and universe. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Ew. Okay, so... let's back up. I mean, there's so much negativity around this game, but let's be positive for a second.
A Suicide Squad game is a great idea. I mean, an ensemble team-up game where you play as the members of the Suicide Squad, each of them with unique abilities to conquer different challenges.
Issue is, this is a live service game.
I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Live service games are all the rage these days. I'm so tired of this. Everyone saw Fortnite's success and thought, wow, we can do this too. No, you can't. I think what really makes Fortnite work is the fact that it's free to play, and each season's battle pass is around $10. $10 every few months is nothing, not to mention you can use the V-Bucks you get from the battle pass to pay for that next season's battle pass. But again, Fortnite being free to play is what makes it such a success. When you try to charge $70 for a game and then continue to beg you to buy battle passes and in-game money and require a PS Plus or Xbox Game Pass subscription to play online, you get...
What did you expect?
In 2020, Square Enix released Avengers, another live service superhero game, and guess what? That game was also critically slammed and widely disliked. But then a year later came Guardians of the Galaxy, a single player game, and it was received much better. Guardians is pretty good from what I've played, and is what Suicide Squad should have been from the start. While you don't play as all the Guardians, the game still makes great use of them both in and out of combat. It's a great ensemble superhero game, and what is it? A single player adventure with no live service elements including microtransactions microtransactions, battle passes, seasons, and this game is actually fun. Suicide Squad did all of that and nobody likes it. Also, it's weird for the first game to take place after Arkham Knight to be about killing the Justice League. I don't really have an issue with the setup, but I don't like how much of a jump this was from Batman fakes his death to Harley Quinn and friends kill the Justice League.
Suicide Squad felt like a slap in the face. I mean, hearing that Rocksteady was back, making another game in this universe, it was exciting, and it focusing on the Suicide Squad, there was a ton of potential there, but it being live service killed my own and many others' interest in this game. I haven't even picked it up yet because I don't want to support this. I mean, this isn't the future of the Arkham franchise I want, so I guess I'm just gonna wait another 7 years for them to take another crack at it. Well, those were the shortest 7 years of my life.
Just a few months after the Suicide Squad situation, a new actual Arkham game was announced, Batman Arkham Shadow. The announcement teaser was short, just a bunch of rats.
But hey, I mean, Ratcatcher is a very interesting choice of a villain, and it's just exciting to know that we have a new Arkham game on the way. Oh my god, I am so close, it's not even funny.
Yet another VR game, why? Now this looks a lot more like an Arkham game, and I've heard it's actually pretty decent. But still, this new game being another VR game, and past that being MetaQuest exclusive, is so lame. But then, there were rumors that an actual Arkham game is now in development at Rocksteady.
I beg of you, just be a new Arkham game!
I get that it can be hard to continue a series that seems to have a definitive end, but there's also so many stories that can be told before the events of each game. There's potential to keep the series going. And of course, there's always a concern with oversaturation and other garbage like that, but it's been almost a decade. I mean, just give us a new Arkham game, please.
While it's hard being an Arkham fan in the modern day, I mean, things are more hopeful than they've ever been. Sure, we're getting games that we don't want, but we're still getting games with the rumor of an actual game coming soon. And hopefully Rocksteady will stick the landing. And if not, I'll probably be here wearing the same stupid shit again. And with that, let's move on to this series' impact on superhero games.
Prior to Asylum's release in 2009, a vast majority of superhero games were movie tie-in sludge. I've talked about some of Batman's games, but we also had classics such as Superman Returns, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 3. We may have also had stuff like Web of Shadows, but yeah. After Asylum release, though, these movie tie-in games died down significantly. During Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, each film received a tie-in game up until The Avengers. After Captain America Super Soldier release in 2011, the Marvel Cinematic Universe no longer received any movie tie-in games. I had a few of these games growing up, Iron Man 2 and Thor God of Thunder, and as a kid, they were fine. Hell, I actually remember liking Iron Man 2, and I barely even remember Thor, but revisiting them, wow, these are unfortunately not good. They just scream lame licensed kids game and not anything more. It's obvious that these were just products that could be on store shelves during each film's marketing push. I don't find it coincidental that after Asylum released in 2009, these types of games didn't last much longer. Of course, Asylum took the place of a Dark Knight game, and by the time The Dark Knight Rises released in 2012, they weren't even considering a tie-in game. It seemed that the future of superhero games was telling original stories separate from any movies releasing around the time, and at first it seems Spider-Man followed in a similar direction. Now this did start in 2008 with the previously mentioned Web of Shadows, but it continued in 2010 with Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Like the Arkham games, this was a simple but effective premise that hooked players and led to an awesome game. This game lets you play as 4 different Spider-Men, all with different gameplay styles. This was the game that inspired the Spider-Verse comics, which led to the critically acclaimed Spider-Verse films. This juggernaut of a duology, set to be a trilogy one day, was all made possible because they made a good Spider-Man game in 2010. Like Arkham Asylum, they didn't restrict themselves into having to be a tie-in with something else. They let it stand on its own 2 feet with an engaging premise, story, and gameplay. And the following year, it seemed they would continue with this trend with Edge of Time. While more of a mixed bag, it's still better than a majority of the movie tie-in sludge released over the years. Batman and Spider-Man showed there was a winning formula to these games, which Spider-Man then said,
"That that's cool. Watch this.
The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, released alongside their respective films, were one final breath of air for the movie tie-in game, and the air quality is low here. These are bad games that, like every other movie tie-in games, seem to have been made for one sole purpose: be on store shelves. They performed poorly critically, and I'd assume commercially as well, and these were the end of an era for superhero games, as 4 years later, Spider-Man would get a new standalone game to be proud of. Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 further proved that this direction of telling original stories based on these characters was the future of superhero games. This game boasted a solid story, the most fun and immersive Spider-Man gameplay yet, and launched a whole series with Miles Morales in 2020 and Spider-Man 2 in 2023. And playing these games, you find a ton of Arkham's DNA. The combat, the traversal, the story, this series feels like the Spider-Man equivalent to Arkham. And because of that, it's no coincidence that the series is rolling in both critical and commercial success. While these games are the most prevalent superhero games in the modern day, we have of course gotten some others. Avengers, which was of course live service sludge, Guardians of the Galaxy, which as I already mentioned is pretty good, and surprise surprise, it tells an original story with engaging gameplay and is a solid adaptation of the source material. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. While the superhero game scene has been dry as of late, we do have a promising enough future. 1943 Rise of Hydra starring Black Panther and Captain America, an Iron Man game, a Wolverine game from Insomniac, throw in Blade as well, and these all seem to be single player experiences, meaning we have a bright future for superhero games, all thanks to the Arkham series.
But now, it's finally time to talk about the insanity.
I can't believe I'm doing this for a second time this year, but let's talk about Reddit, specifically r/Batman Arkham, the infamous madhouse of the internet. Now these days, it's absolute chaos, but it wasn't always like that. When the subreddit began, it was just another community with a similar interest, the Arkham series. But then it happened. Nothing. In the long gap following Arkham Knight, the subreddit pretty much dried up. Sure, there was always discussions on the games and other aspects of the series, but there was never anything new to talk about, which is when the post that changed everything was made. Is there a lore reason why he's called the Arkham Knight? A totally legit question. I mean, it's not explained in the game. However, the phrasing, "is there a lore reason," became a massive ongoing joke in the subreddit, which led to banger posts like, "is there a lore reason to keep going? Is there a lore reason that lore reasons are lore reasons?" And the picture is Harley Quinn's ass from Arkham Knight, my god. Is there a lore reason why I'm sexually attracted to her? No. Is there a lore reason why I got can't? What the fuck? Is there a lore reason for the— oh my god. But of course, the insanity kept on going. Why doesn't Batman just call the Justice League for help? Is he stupid? Another valid question with some equally valid answers. But people took those last three words, "is he stupid?" and ran with them. Am I stupid? Am I stupid? Am I stupid? Oh my god, it's that cancer post again. Why are you here? Are you stupid? I feel stupider looking at this. While researching this, I discovered this timeline that shows there was way more to the subreddit's history than I thought. Drama with moderators, the origins of other shit posts. I can't recount it all because I don't know a whole lot, but still, this subreddit is insane. Photoshop the ears off Batman from The Flash and you have man.
No, I'm man.
And then there's mispronounced names. The Jonkler, Killer Cock, Officer Balls, Killer Croc, but with Crocs. What the fuck was his problem? Anyone else notice Wayne Towers? That must mean Bruce Wayne is in the game. These days it's harder to find a good post, but it's possible. Why does man have his little footsies out? Is he kinky? Oh my god. Do you think— no, no. Do you think— oh god, do you think they jack each other off? God. Of course, in Matt Reeves' Batman universe, they renamed Penguin Oz Cobb to quote-unquote make it more grounded. So here's here's the ATM. Or hell, that's still too silly. How about just the— what the fuck is Jonkler buying? Are those meant to be mouse pads? Can't find. Where'd Joker? Can we all agree the Arkham Saga ended here?
Well, to me personally, it ended here.
I drink my— oh, what the fuck? I drink my own cum. What is the correlation to that and Batman? I should stop browsing this subreddit before it takes over my personal belongings.
It's already happened. And I think that's a good place to round off this discussion. It's been a blast revisiting this series and its impact on the industry, and while it's been a rough few years for the series, things are looking up for this franchise. And so with that, I call an end to Batman Arkhamthon. Round 1. Oh yeah, I'm not done yet. There's still a bunch of spin-offs to look at, DLC, different versions of each game I can talk about, whatever. So one day I'll come back to this series and explore some of the more obscure aspects of it, but that's gonna do it for now. I mean, I've been neglecting my kitchen for the past few months while I've looked back at the rest of the series, so I should probably check on it now. Oh wow, it's on fire. Is there a lore reason for that, or am I just stupid?